Now, Mr. President, since we recessed around the 1st of August and just came back yesterday, our colleague on the House side, Congressman Paul Ryan, has become the vice presidential nominee for the Republican ticket under, of course, Governor Romney, who has got the nomination for president. Now, Congressman Paul Ryan is not an unknown entity, not an unknown quantity. He has been around a long time. He has been chairman of the House Budget Committee, and he has put forward the so-called Ryan budget twice. Are we going to restore, rescue, rebuild the struggling middle class, or are we going to shift even more of our wealth and advantages to those at the top at the expense of the middle class? Well, Republicans have made clear where they stand. They did so when nearly every Republican in Congress voted for the Ryan budget plan, and Governor Romney embraced the Ryan budget as, quote, marvelous, marvelous. The very centerpiece of the Ryan budget is a dramatic shift of more wealth to those at the top, targeting huge new tax cuts for those at the top. Here's what it would do. $265,000 more per year for someone making over $1 million a year in income. Now, that's on top of the $129,000 they're already getting from the Bush tax cuts. So the Ryan budget would extend the Bush tax cuts and put $265,000 on top of the $129,000, which comes to about around $400,000 a year if you're making over $1 million a year. The Republicans offset these new big tax cuts for those at the top by actually raising taxes on the middle class. Now, you heard me right. The Ryan budget would actually raise taxes on the middle class. The Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center estimates that under the Republican plan, middle-class families with children would see their taxes go up on an average by more than $2,000 a year. He doubles down on the theory that if only we give more to those at the top, it will magically trickle down. Well, today, Mr. President, I'd like to focus specifically on the devastating impact of the Romney-Ryan budget on education. On education. It is an unprecedented assault on education funding and a grave threat that this poses to school reform efforts across the United States. Mr. President, I have an unusual perspective on this issue as both the chair of the Appropriations Subcommittee that funds our federal education programs. And I might point out for the last 23 years, I've either been the chair of that Appropriations Subcommittee or ranking member. I've been on that subcommittee since 1985. And I'm also now the chair of the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, which authorizes the education programs. And I've been on that committee since 1987. I've served under distinguished chairmen, Senator Kennedy, Senator Kassebaum, Senator Jeffers, Senator Gregg from New Hampshire, Senator Enzi, and now I chair it. So for all these years, I've been on both the authorizing committee and on the appropriations subcommittee. I must tell you, I've been heartened by the exciting work being done in schools across the country to improve the quality of instruction for our students, to close the achievement gap, graduate more students who are, quote, college and career ready. 45 states and the District of Columbia have collaborated to create high-quality common education standards, Common Core standards. The Obama administration's Race to the Top initiative has jump-started ambitious state-level reforms to turn around the nation's lowest-performing schools.